Hey everyone, welcome to this tier list. We're patch 7.07 second try this time. I just fucked it up a little bit. So enjoy, we're live on stream, so discussing some changes. Have fun. First of all, I just explained it. We had some Kingpin changes, 100 less HP, but anglers now are able to receive more stacks in the early game without having to invest more money into bad HP per gold, bad DPS per gold, which would be the bounty hunter. So there's not a change in the tier of the angler, it will still stay on S tier. Same for Antler, it's still a solid unit, but you kind of don't want to have it in any case. Aquas, we had them at best A tier unit. I think I'm gonna put them there once again out of one simple reason. We had Berserker Serpent got nerfed, we had Azeria got nerfed, so those were probably the best openers you could have done. So Aqua is now probably equal with those openers, and we're putting all of them at upper A. Next on Banana Bank. It is still a balanced unit, can't change that opinion, it didn't get changed at all. But we did have some nice changes to Bazooka and Zeus. I really think Zeus is a unit you should have an eye on at the moment. Always keep in mind the patch isn't out for a long time, so some of this tier list might change throughout the time, and if you want to be on the perfect state of balance, just check out my stream from time to time. And I'm gonna whine about the OP units, so enjoy that. But at the moment I would put Bazooka actually A tier because of Bazooka and Zeus. Pyro is still balanced, but I think Zeus is a very nice opener that should be mentioned. Could synergize very well with Magician. I didn't try it out yet, but in my imagination that should synergize very, very well. Next on, as mentioned, we have Berserker, just a broken opener at the moment, a very decent unit. You have good Swift. Berserker together with the Deep Coiler is just too strong, but we did put it more into the middle A last time because without the Serpent or other units that you can go 5 worker Berserker opener, it's not as strong, but it's still very solid as an opener unit. Bone Warrior, well, what can you say? Bone Warrior is just fine. Once again, we have Butcher being, I think, balanced. Now we had it C tier last time. Headchef, more HP. Butcher, more HP. Headchef buff with Magician and Starcaller. So we will have it in B tier. I really think the latest buffs are gonna increase Butcher on units where it's not perfect, but where you can still get some value out of the aura. Boss, we had some nerfs. Probably still A tier. I would let it run a little bit more towards the end of A right now. Let me really fast check the Chain Fist. We had it at the back of A. I think that's exactly where it belongs once again. We have Pilgrims. They were in, where were they? In B tier. I think we can still put them in B tier, especially after the nerfs. Lower B tier should be the place. You can have this perfect Kingpin role where you have, for example, Yosora and Le Pilgrim, a very strong comp. Maybe some additional ranged damage, for example Halos, should be a very, very good comp you can play. But 150 HP reduction on each Chieftain is a lot to mention. Starcaller, we had some adjustments, we had some changes, and I cannot really say too much about it yet because there will be plenty of testing needed. You have to try out a lot of units, you have to try out this and that. So I'm just gonna put it at the same place it was before. I just cannot say too much about it. I do really like the changes to Starcaller and Magician because it simplifies the game without reducing complexity. I really appreciate those changes, as well as changed more power towards the boa without Starcaller and have it weaker with Starcaller and stuff like this. Really nice. The only thing I'm worried about is Starcaller Steed. They have a better synergy now than before already. So those two units are actually just a huge buff with any other mana unit. But else I cannot say too much about it yet. we're just gonna leave it at the spot it is. And same is for exec. Once again, keep in mind, exec is the only exception I make in this tier list. It is S+++ tier if you have a full exec at the start of the game, even though it were nerfs. Personally, I think in most cases it is not worth it to get an exec later into the game. There are some cases where you want to bait sense, or where you just have no other tank, where it is really useful to place an exec, maybe sometimes even a broken exec. But S tier exec is only for the opener, but I have to put it here because it is that broken. It has to be best S tier. This is the only exception I make where I don't take an average over all units, because otherwise exec would probably be B tier, but this gives a very wrong information to players. Next one we have Wanderer. I think they're balanced. They have been balanced in my tier list last time. They're not gonna change even though they got reduced. I think they're just fine still. Firelord, really strong unit. We actually have to put it a little bit more up because it is such a strong unit. Probably one of the best magic dealers, especially if you have some buffs to it, and if you can split with, for example, ranged units. I really do like it. Yes, that's probably one of the solutions if you play against passive overbuilders, where you can make a lot of value out of exec. That is, for example, one of the options where it's still worth it later on. We have next Gargoyle. It's balanced. I really don't like it. It's fine, I guess. So is the Gate Guard, still in C tier. No changes to the Gate Guard. We have no changes to Buckler. Still fine. Graal. Where else should it be? Graal, absolute best unit in the game, just because you have that variety out of the Graal. Like, this ability is just a game changer. Next one we have Boa, and we had Boa in A tier already. We have to put it absolutely at upper A tier now. It's just insane. It is insane with the right comp, and otherwise you just don't want to play it. So AoE comps with Boa, insanely strong. If you don't have it with an AoE comp and you have other tanks you can take, don't take Boa. Next on Harpies. What can I say? We have Harpies be really weak the whole time. Sky Queens got small buffs, but I'm still not a big fan of them, so I'm still putting them in D tier. Maybe they actually are D tier now, but personally I think I didn't do enough testing, so I cannot really put them up yet. The Honeyflower, we had no changes to Honeyflower, so let's just put her in B tier once again. So is Infiltrator, still lower A tier. Very strong unit. Just stat wise, it's not like other units outclass it, but the spell is very useful. Reds. They were in B tier as far as I remember. Yep. And there is exactly where they belong. Nope. Sorry for that. I'm just going to continue with some units that did not really change. We had the Mask still in B tier. We do still have the Millennium there. We do still obviously have the Mudman in A tier. And I just see some comments about the Bus. They should not see in A tier. Actually, I want them to be lower A tier now. So far, all I tested, they've still felt fine, but I didn't play them too often yet. I still think, since they have an insane early game power, damage, plus the snipe potential of Sense or just bigger units with their passive, makes them still very strong in the early game, I think. I didn't test them out a lot though. I think I played Buzz only once since the new patch. And they didn't feel trash to me there, but maybe if more of you say they're not an A tier anymore, I'm gonna move them down. while you can decide if you want to have boss more in the B tier category, we will continue with some changes that like didn't really happen, and I'm just gonna drag some units back into around their position. Obviously, as I always mentioned, I'm not gonna be 100% precise. Like there's not 100% order. I try to do the best units at the front and the worst at the end, but sometimes I just cannot do 100% of an order. So we do have Polly still being upper A tier. Don't know why this happened. Priestess, here it is. People calling it unplayable. It is still one of the best openers, still insane push. So I don't really see them in such a bad spot. Atom, since it's now synergizing a little bit better with Magician, that way Magician and Steed especially synergizing really well, I would put them at lower A tier. Just played them twice and it felt really nice to do this. So yeah. Next one, we're having Rangers. Rangers got some buffs. They have been in C tier. I think personally I would now put them just somewhere in the middle of B tier. They feel fine. Still not a unit you kind of want to have for your pierce damage, but it's not good yet. It's okay. It's okay. Steed. Well, what should I say? They have been in a balanced spot last time. They have to be a little bit more up now. I think actually they're very in front of B tier just because of the changes to Magician and Starcaller. And we had some changes to Badger as well. Pretty sure they're still one of the best arcane tanks in the game. So that's why they are lower A tier. Deep Coilers, very nice change. Deep Coiler were a little bit too strong, but they made a really good choice without to not kill them, but still nerf them. But there's just nothing you can do. Deep Coilers are still S tier. I'm gonna put them at last position of S tier right now, changing it with the Anglers this time because they're small nerfs, but they're still insanely strong. Gate is still a balanced unit, so is Tempest. It was upper C tier. I think I'm gonna put it in middle of B tier now. I've tried them out more often. They feel alright in the early game. Obviously wave 4 it's just a shit show with Tempest. But Tempest Windhawk, for example, is still a very nice comp, and so we have to put Windhawk in middle of B tier as well, just because they are totally fine on their own. With Tempest, they make a really nice synergy. Varg, guys, you know what's coming now. We have Varg absolutely A tier. I actually think I want to do the Berserker a little bit more at the back because I didn't do that much of testing now. I played them twice so far and it really felt fine. I think I won both of the games, but obviously 2 games are not enough to have a perfect position. Next on, Wildshroom. We actually had Wildshroom in B tier last time. Oh no, in C tier last time. So here's the thing, which I kind of want to discuss with you. Wildshroom, meh, but Canopy is actually balanced. Canopy, B tier, Wildshroom, C tier. That's why I would put them at upper C tier. Yeah, probably Yarg, I have to shift a little bit. The thing is, since in Legion, everything matters about comps, you kinda rate units a little bit better anyway, right? So for example, the Varg, obviously I have to count in the Varg comps, so it is actually very strong. But if I say Varg as a solo unit, it is like not that great. It would probably be C tier. But since the whole Varg thing only works with other units, you have to combine it with them, and that's the case with a lot of units. For example, with the Steed as well. And I think this is the problem why all units are somehow a little bit higher rated, since there are combinations you can play, and you really cannot rate any unit 100% on its own. So I'm just gonna stick to my opinion, do the Canopy at upper C tier. I think there were no hardcore complaints. Yosora, it's a balanced unit, I think. Just put it somewhere there. APS, very strong aura still, but below lower A tier. Elite Archers, they were low B tier. I think they are a little bit higher now in B tier because there were some nice changes. And Halo, what can you say? Halo's still somewhere here at the top of A. Let's put it here. Let's put it here. And the problem now is, as you said, the units are kinda, they're rated a little bit, like overall the units are rated a little bit too high. And actually I think maybe I have to change some stuff here. For example, we can actually put the Looter at C tier. It's not that good. Like Looter is fine, but not that strong. Yes, 10 gold per HP. It's not that OP, I think. But it's so hard. Like there's not a lot you can do else, since everything kinda relies on a comb. Everything has to be mentioned together with other units in the most cases. So that's why the tier list is like more around like usually you would probably draw the line in balanced units. Then you have A tier, those units that are strong, S tier, those units that are very strong, and C tier, probably the units that are a little bit too weak, need buffs. But actually you kind of have to make the line somewhere else, which would be A tier. A tier would be good units you can play, and B tier would be those units that might need some buffs. Like A tier and S tier units might get some small nerfs, and B tier units might already get some small buffs, and then those units would be on a balanced line where you would say that's a good unit, you can play it, but it's not totally broken. Like S tier units, small nerfs. A tier units are probably fine, some of them are fine, some of them are a little bit too good. And B tier units, it's like you can play them, but you would kind of have better units unless you have good synergy. Like the synergy thing in Legion makes all the trouble. But that's it with the tier list so far. I hope my explanations helped you out. It is a hard topic because you always have to mention comms, you always have to mention good in the early, mid or late game. So tier lists in Legion is very hard to go for. It's just a rough idea where I would rank certain units, and if you just look at the tier list, you sometimes don't understand my argumentation behind it. So it's always good if you're either live on stream when I do the tier list, or if you watch the video. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the tier list video, and yeah, have a good day. Good luck in your games.